Welcome to Red, Blue, and You, the podcast that helps new SMU students and their families prepare for life on the Hilltop. In this series, we will be breaking down the information you need to be successful here at SMU. I'm Elizabeth Laboa, SMU's provost. My team is here for your academic success, and I look forward to seeing you on the Hilltop this fall.
Hi Mustangs, and welcome to this episode of Red, Blue, and You. I'm your host, Camille McCallum from the Office of Engaged Learning, and I'm joined here today by Dr. Elizabeth Russ, Associate Professor of Spanish and Chair of the World Languages Department, and she's going to tell you all about the World Languages courses. Dr. Russ, how do SMU students satisfy the second language requirement?
So students can satisfy the second language requirement. Most students will satisfy it in one of two ways. You can either continue studying a language that you've already begun to study in high school, or you can decide to start a new language. So if you decide to start a new language, a lot of times students struggle with, well, what's the language that I should choose, right? Here at SMU, we offer 11 languages. You can start by taking American Sign Language or Ancient Greek, Arabic, Chinese, French, German, Italian, Japanese, Latin, Russian, or Spanish. Those are your choices. So if you decide that you want to continue the language you've studied with high school, no problem. You take a placement exam. We'll talk about that in a minute. The other option is starting the new language. If you start a new language, some students just have a language they've always wanted to study that wasn't offered in high school, and we offer a lot of languages, so maybe that language is offered here and you can start it. Other students might select a new language based on a personal goal, a place of the world that they want to travel to, or a professional goal. You know, maybe they want to work in an international company and they know that that company works a lot with Germany, so they want to study German, for example. Students that struggle with this question might want to reach out to Jay Orenduff, who is our second language advisor, and his email is very easy to remember. It's slr@smu.edu. So that's SLR as in second language requirement at smu.edu.
Awesome, thank you. You mentioned a placement exam students could take for their second language requirement. Could you tell us a little bit more about that exam?
Absolutely. So any student who has previous experience studying one of the languages that they would like to take here at SMU must take a placement exam. Now, you may have already taken your placement exam. It's inside of your online orientation Canvas course. And if you've already taken it, you've probably also already seen a little video that we made from a student perspective covering a lot of the same information I'm talking about right now. If you have not yet taken your placement exam, the most important thing to understand is that this is what I would think of as a show what you know assessment. So that means that students should not ask for help. They shouldn't look up answers when they're taking it. They should really just do their very best, because the purpose of the placement exam is for us to put you in the course that takes the linguistic skills you already have and optimizes them for the best language learning experience. So don't ask for help. Don't try to do worse either, because we find that students who start in a class that's too easy for them get bored, disengaged, and then end up really struggling to do well in the class because they just don't want to do the work that's required of them.
Thank you, great. Now, what if a student already speaks a second language fluently?
Okay, yes. So we'll talk in a moment about ways to place out of the second language requirement. A student who speaks another language fluently, or maybe not completely fluently, but has grown up speaking another language at home with their parents or grandparents, they may be able to place out of the second language requirement altogether. But we also really encourage students like that to think about continuing to study language here at SMU. For example, if you grew up speaking another language at home with your parents or other family members, you might really enjoy taking advanced level language courses in that language to explore and discover new things about your family heritage. But also, people that grow up bilingual or trilingual tend to be very good at learning languages, so this may be an area of academic strength, and you may really enjoy leaping into learning other new languages while you're here.
Awesome. So you mentioned a way to place out of the second language requirement. Could you tell us a little bit more about what that would look like?
Sure. So there are a few ways that you can place out of the second language requirement altogether. One is if you are an international student who grew up in a non-English speaking country and attended a non-English language high school, you can simply present your transcripts to our second language advisor, Jay Orenduff, who I already mentioned, whose office is on the 3rd floor of Clements Hall, and you can place out of the language exam that way. You can also do so through test credit if you have the appropriate score on certain advanced placement or IBHL exams. Or you can do so by taking what's called the OPI. It is an oral proficiency exam or an oral proficiency interview. You pay a fee of about $200. You make an appointment in our tech center in Clements Hall. And if you test at the intermediate, mid-level, or above, then you can place out of the second language requirement. But it's important to note that the placement exam that we talked about before, you cannot place out through the placement exam. So if you test really high on the placement exam, that puts you into a higher level beginning course here, but it won't get you out of the second language requirement.
That's great to know. I imagine that study abroad is really closely linked to world languages.
Yes.
So can students fulfill their second language requirement by studying abroad?
That's a great question, and the answer is yes. So we have faculty-led, summer faculty-led 5-week study abroad programs that have these intensive first-year courses in German, Italian, French, and Spanish. And students can attend any of those programs and satisfy the second language requirement. It is also possible in semester-long programs to find language courses that are offered there. Those offerings change from time to time, so I'd recommend you speak with one of the academic counselors at SMU Abroad if you're interested in going on a semester-long program.
What can students expect from their second language classes?
That's a wonderful question as well. So most of the students at SMU satisfy the second language requirement by taking a first or second year, so a beginning or intermediate level class. Those classes, for the most part, meet 4 to 5 days a week. That means they're really intensive classes. They do require a lot of work, but they're also highly interactive classes. You're moving around, you're talking with your classmates, you're practicing the skills that you've been studying. So students tend to find them to be, yes, a lot of work, but also very invigorating and even fun because of the communicative style that we use to teach languages here at SMU. And another cool thing about them is that you learn a lot of practical skills, right? So you can actually see yourself getting better in the language over the course of the semester. And also, because you're with your classmates almost every day of the week, it's a great way to meet friends and find community here at SMU.
Awesome. Learning through languages and meeting friends through languages as well.
Yeah.
Now, we know we have many languages at SMU, the 11 that you mentioned, but why does SMU have a second language requirement?
So SMU has a second language requirement because SMU's motto is World Changers Shaped Here. And as the chair of the World Languages Department, I firmly believe that learning another language offers you the opportunity to understand the world, communicate with the world on a deeper level. And what better way to change the world for the better than be a person who really understands and engages the world at a level that isn't possible if you only speak one language.
Very good. Now, some students may be wondering, why do I need to learn a second language? So what do you think are the real benefits of learning a second language?
Sure. So personally, of course, studying language allows you to do all kinds of fun things like travel to other countries and really interact with local communities in those countries. Opens up opportunities for friendships with people from around the world, and also allows you to take advantage of maybe unexpected opportunities to spend time in another place of the world because of your language skills.
What opportunities does SMU provide for higher level language study?
Sure. So for a student who already has advanced level language skills or who decides they want to acquire those skills here at SMU. We offer majors in Spanish, French, and world languages. And world languages, that major combines the study of any two of our languages that we offer. And then you can also minor in almost all of the languages that we teach. So we offer minors in Arabic, Chinese, French, German, Italian, Japanese, Latin, Russian, and Spanish.
And what opportunities are there for students studying a second language outside of the classroom?
Yeah, absolutely. So we have, of course, study abroad. We have a lot of faculty-led summer programs in many different countries and many different languages. A lot of our students like to do those. Those usually last about 5 weeks. We also have semester-long programs in many different countries as well. As I mentioned when talking about satisfying the second language requirement through study abroad, the semester-long opportunities for more advanced language study do tend to evolve frequently. So it's a good idea to talk to SMU Abroad academic counselors about those opportunities. And then we also have lots of opportunities to apply your language skills outside of the classroom, even here in Dallas. We have internship classes that can place you with international corporations that have headquarters here, or nonprofits that interact with language communities, people that speak languages other than English here in the Dallas-Fort Worth area, or teaching, for example. We have future teachers who want to practice their language skills in the classroom. And we have some classes that really focus on community engagement, where you can do different kinds of projects with different language communities here in Dallas.
Thank you so much for being here with us today, Dr. Russ.
Absolutely.
Are there any final thoughts or comments you'd like to share with our students and families before we go?
All right, thank you. So I have two things that I'd like to share. One is any questions about second language requirement. Once again, I will refer students to Jay Orenduff, who is our wonderful second language requirement advisor, and you can reach him at slr@smu.edu. The other thing is that I think we might have a little video clip right now of some of our alums who will be talking about how they've used language to find really satisfying careers after graduating from SMU. And students can find more information and explore more stories like these on our website, smu.edu/WLL.
Thanks so much, and let's hear from those alumni.
And people made fun of me. They were like, Alexandra, what are you going to do with two majors in French and engineering? That's kind of weird. What are you going to do? Be a French engineer? Well, here I am.
I tried Italian, and at the time I was studying engineering and I was doing biotech and I was doing all these technical kind of fields, but SMU tells you, let's try a language. And I fell in love with the language.
In the DC sort of think tank international community, having languages is a necessity. Like if this is on your CV, you need, one or two other languages will make you stand out so much more.
I think it was the first time that I had really felt this pull or this possibility that maybe it would be possible for me to establish a life outside of Dallas for myself, because I'd grown up in Dallas. I'd been there my entire life.
SMU Abroad changed my life, as a student, now as a mother, as a teacher later, absolutely just radicalized, opened my eyes.
I think it looks great just to even go abroad, right? Like you're saying that you did this by yourself and you were able to be brave and do this. And I think that speaks volumes on a resume or CV as well.
I wouldn't be able to have some of the opportunities that I do now if I didn't have some of the abroad experience before stepping into them. That's invaluable. If I were to be in a place where my job had asked me that I needed to go there and work or go to somewhere else and work, and knowing that I could say yes, and the only question is, what's my ticket and when am I leaving? Because I knew I could get myself up and running. Not only is it incredibly marketable, but it's incredibly empowering as well.
Thank you so much for being here with us today, Dr. Russ. That concludes this episode of Red, Blue, and You. Until next time, Mustangs, and pony up.